Before we dive into today's story, if this is your first time watching one of our videos, we'd love for you to hit that subscribe button. Your support means the world to us and helps us bring you even more powerful stories. Stick with us till the very end. And if this story moves you, share your thoughts in the comments and send it to a friend who needs to hear it. Now let's begin. Alara Knox woke to a cold draft on her neck and a silence that felt like the pause before an earthquake. Her hand rose, trembling, and met nothing but a harsh field of stubble where her long auburn hair had been. "No, no, no!" she breathed, sitting up too fast, sheets tangling at her waist, heart churning like a drum. In the doorway stood her mother, Corinne, holding kitchen scissors as if they were a gavel. "Justice," Corinne announced, chin high. Behind her loomed Benedict, Alara's father, arms folded like a locked gate. "Now, maybe someone will pity you instead of admiring you," he said, voice flat with satisfaction. "What did you do to me?" Alara whispered, fingers finding a jagged 2-inch patch above her ear. Tears burning, but not falling. Tamsin Rowe, her younger sister and tomorrow's bride, peeked around their mother's shoulder, a smile tucked into the corner of her mouth. "Relax, Elle," Tamsin said lightly. "Hair grows." 1,000 memories sprinted through Alara's mind. Late-night study sessions, the first apartment she paid for alone. Every time she had swallowed their cruelty, because family was meant to be forgiven, until the sprint slowed and froze. She stared at Corinne's scissors. "You cut me while I slept," she said, voice steadying into something cold. "You climbed into my room and cut me." Corinne shrugged. "You hoard attention. I corrected the imbalance." Benedict added, "Don't make yourself the victim. Be useful for once. Smile for your sister." Alara climbed from the bed, spine straightening as though someone invisible pulled a cord inside her. "You want me small," she said softly, "but you don't know me at all." She brushed past them, their perfume and aftershave sickly in the narrow hall. Corinne called after her. "Bridesmaid call is at 9. Don't embarrass us." Alara's hand tightened around the doorknob of the bathroom. "You did that for me," she said, shut the door and locked it like a vow. She collapsed onto the tile and pressed her palms to her eyes until the world steadied, until breath returned in smooth, counted waves. The phone buzzed. Aunt Leora Dane, the only person who had ever stood between Alara and despair. "Good morning, Star. Checking on you before the big day. How are you?" Alara typed with clumsy thumbs. "They cut my hair. All of it. While I slept." The reply came in seconds. "What?" "I'm calling." Leora's voice arrived like a warm coat thrown over shaking shoulders. "Tell me from the beginning." Alara explained, the scissors, the words, the triumph on her parents' faces, Tamsin's smirk. "Pack. Leave," Leora said, crisp as snapped ice. "Come to me. I'll drive you to the police if you want. We document, we report, we protect you." Alara leaned her head to the cool door. "If I run, they win," she said. "They want me ashamed and hidden. I won't give them that." Leora was quiet, then careful. "What do you need?" "A mirror," Alara said, standing. "And a plan." She moved through memory as she wiped her face, the years when Corinne dressed Tamsin in silk and handed Alara secondhand sweaters. The 16th birthdays where Tamsin got a car and Alara got a used alarm clock, plus a lecture on resilience. The valedictorian speech Benedict skipped because Tamsin had a sniffle. The way every compliment to Alara's green eyes or clear skin turned the air colder at home. At Riverpoint High, she had survived. At Kingsley University, she had thrived alone, working nights, graduating top of her program. At a major firm in Riverpoint, New Jersey, she had climbed to marketing executive through grit and results. "You built yourself," Leora would often say, proud. "They can't unbuild you." Alara opened the camera, flinched at the hacked ruin, then started searching. Emergency salon, earliest appointment, any miracle worker with hands like mercy and steel. A slot glowed, 30 minutes away. She booked it. "Text me the address," Leora said. "I'm paying." "Thank you," Alara whispered, strength returning like blood to a numb hand. "I'm not done speaking," she added to herself, to the mirror, to tomorrow. She dressed fast, black jeans, a clean white tee, a blazer that fit like resolve, and stepped into the kitchen where Corinne and Benedict sipped coffee, as if nothing in the world had shifted. Tamsin, in satin shorts and complacency, scrolled her phone. "There she is," Corinne said, eyes skating over Lara's scalp with pleased cruelty. "Unique," Tamsin murmured. Benedict lifted his mug. "You're welcome." Elara slid her bag onto her shoulder. "I have a salon appointment in 30 minutes, she said. "I'll meet you all at the bridesmaids' lunch." Corinne's smile thinned. "We don't have time for your vanity." "You made time last night," Elara answered, tone even, and walked past them to the door. On the porch, the January air of River Point knifed her cheeks awake. Her phone rang. Nova Hale, her oldest friend, a strategist with a spine of titanium. "What happened?" Nova asked. Elara told her, step by step. Nova swore softly. "Okay, listen to me. We're not ruining a wedding. We're serving the truth. You want something controlled. Surgical. Evidence only." Elara exhaled frost. "Exactly." "Then record your statements today," Nova said. "Timestamp everything. Photos of the hair, the scissors, the locks in the trash. If there's any camera in the hallway, pull it. I'll set up a private site, invite only for family and guests. No public circus, just accountability. And if they deny?" Elara asked, sliding into her car. "We won't shout," Nova replied. "We'll show." The salon bell chimed 20 minutes later, and Alessia Voss, all sharp bangs and gentle eyes, stopped mid-step when Elara removed her beanie. "Who did this to you?" "My family," Elara said. "For balance." Alessia's mouth tightened. "Sit. I can't restore length, but I can give you a crown no one can take." As scissors whispered and clippers hummed, Alessia spoke like a surgeon. "This wasn't a haircut," she said. "It was an attack. Let me craft armor." Hair fell. Then shape emerged, textured pixie, graceful at the nape, powerful at the cheekbones. For the first time that morning, Elara smiled at herself. "You look reborn," Alessia murmured. "Good," Elara said. "I have work to do." Nova arrived as Alessia dusted away the last stray hairs, a laptop tucked under her arm and purpose in her stride. "I built a private gallery," she said, opening to a clean, spare page labeled receipts, not rumors. "Invite list is the wedding party, close family, planner, and photographer. No reposting allowed. Download blocked. View logs on." Elara slid her phone across. Photos of the overflowing bathroom bin, close-ups of the hacked patches, screenshots of last night's text from Corinne. "Don't be late. Try not to be a spectacle." Nova added voice memos Elara recorded in the car. A calm, time-stamped account of events. "We need one more layer," Nova said. "Independent witnesses." Alessia lifted a hand. "Every stylist here saw the damage. I'll write a statement." 2 makeup artists stepped forward, eyes fierce. "Us too." Nova nodded. "Perfect." Elara bought statement earrings that brushed her jaw like gleaming commas, a delicate clip that caught light like defiance, and a red lipstick that made her mouth look like the truth. "One more stop," Nova said as they left. "We loop in the wedding planner." At the hotel, Maya Trent, the planner, listened with the stillness of someone balancing a chandelier in a windstorm. "If this explodes," Maya said, "we protect the venue staff and the innocent guests. But I won't silence you. Tell me what you need." "A 30-second window," Elara said. "If they lie in public, I answer in public." Calmly. Maya considered, then slid over a discreet mic. "If you need amplification," she said, "use this. I'll cue the lights." Elara met her eyes. "Thank you." "Women protect women," Maya replied, "especially when scissors become weapons." They filed a brief incident report with a local officer. Leora's idea, so the date and language would stand even if Alara chose not to press charges. Then Nova tested a final touch. Small QR codes printed on cream cardstock that looked like place cards. If you're confused, scan for context, they read. Surgical, Alara said, tucking 3 into her clutch. No shouting. Only showing, Nova echoed, and the plan settled into Alara's bones like armor. On the wedding morning, the preparation, sweet, smelled of hairspray and panic. Tamsin sat in a robe the color of expensive clouds, cheeks already powdered into perfection, while 2 bridesmaids, Piper and Sloane, fluttered around her with compliments like confetti. Conversation stopped when Alara entered. Corinne turned first, face tightening as if Alara's presence scuffed the parquet. You were supposed to look plain, Corinne hissed. What have you done? I fixed what you broke, Alara said. Tamsin stood, robe swishing. You ruined the plan, she whispered, close enough that only Alara could hear. You were meant to fade, not shine. Sorry to disappoint, Alara replied. Piper blinked at Alara's hair. Who did that to you? Sloane whispered, It's beautiful. Corinne cut in, bright and brittle. She cutted herself for attention. Alara faced the room. Corinne and Benedict cut my hair while I slept, she said evenly, to make sure I didn't outshine the bride. The door opened. Jalen Ward, the groom, stepped in and stopped as if gravity changed. Alara, he said, voice catching, what happened? Your future in-laws happened, Alara answered. Corinne laughed too high. A harmless joke. Jalen looked from Alara to the scissors peeking from Corinne's handbag and back. That's assault, he said quietly. You knew, he asked Tamsin, voice fraying. Tamsin's eyes flickered. I didn't stop it, she muttered. She needed to be taken down a peg. Something in Jalen's face closed. Maya, the planner, edged to Alara's side, a small nod passing between them. Whatever you need, Maya whispered. Alara slipped a QR card atop the vanity, harmless as a place setting. I want peace, she said, loud enough for the room. But I won't live inside a lie. Tamsin swallowed, anger shading into fear. You won't ruin this for me, she said. I'm not your ruin, Alara replied. I'm your mirror. Outside, the string quartet tuned. Inside, truth waited in Alara's clutch like a quiet thunderbolt. She straightened her shoulders, breathed, and prepared to walk. Not to war, but to witness. When the processional music finally drifted through the chapel doors, the bridal party lined up in trembling formation. Alara stood behind Sloane, her hands clasped loosely, her heartbeat slow and steady, not with fear, but with clarity. As the doors opened, she walked when cued, step by even step, eyes fixed ahead. She heard the whispers ripple through the rows of guests. Short hair, dramatic, what happened? But she kept her expression serene. Jalen stood at the altar, shoulders tight, gaze flicking to her with a silent apology carved into his features. When Tamsin entered on Benedict's arm, the guests sighed approvingly, but underneath those polished dews was a discord, a discomfort people tried to swallow. Tamsin clung to Jalen with a desperation Alara had never seen in her. During the vows, Jalen's voice wavered, especially when he said support, respect, and honor. His eyes drifted again to Alara, not longing, but mourning, the mourning of a man realizing truth too late. When the kiss finally came, Tamsin seized him, overperformed it, clinging like a woman fighting shadows. Afterward, as they exited the chapel, Piper leaned toward Alara. Something's wrong, she whispered. He looks trapped. Alara murmured. Everyone sees eventually, some just later than others. Outside, as guests gathered for photographs, the tension grew like humidity before a storm. Benedict tried again to shove Alara into the back row. Blend, he muttered, but the photographer, Matteo, frowned. Her haircut is stunning. She stays in the front. Corinne's jaw clicked audibly. Tamsin's smile twitched. Matteo snapped photos, oblivious to the silent war waging behind every posed grin. Elara felt Nova's work humming inside her clutch. Evidence, truth, unignorable. This wasn't revenge. This was revelation waiting politely for its turn. By the time guests filed into the reception ballroom, a cascade of chandeliers and white roses, Elara felt the air thicken with unspoken questions. People kept glancing between her elegant, pixie cut and her parents' stiff expressions. During dinner, Corinne and Benedict pretended she didn't exist. They laughed loudly, commented on the floral arrangements, toasted Tamsin's radiance, and refused to acknowledge the daughter sitting directly across from them. Jalen barely touched his food. His hand shook when he put down his glass. At the neighboring table, two of Tamsin's college friends whispered, stealing glances at Elara. Eventually one of them, Kendra, approached. Can I ask what happened to your hair?" she whispered. Before Elara could answer, Benedict snapped, "Don't encourage dramatics." Elara simply reached into her clutch and handed Kendra a cream card. "If you want the truth," she said softly, "scan this." Kendra scanned. Her eyes widened. She handed the phone to her friend. Their faces fell from curiosity to horror. "They did this." Kendra whispered, "Your parents." Elara nodded once. Other guests noticed the shift in the atmosphere and began quietly requesting the same card. Elara offered only to those who asked sincerely. Within minutes, pockets of the room filled with murmuring. Some guests gasped. Others looked sick. More than one person stared at Corinne and Benedict as if seeing mold beneath polished paint. Across the room, Maya, the planner, watched it unfold, her expression unreadable but proud. Jalen caught Elara's gaze from the head table, then stood abruptly. He walked toward her with purpose, stopping at her side. "We need to talk," he said. "Now." Tamsin's head snapped toward them. "Jalen," she hissed. "Where are you?" "5 minutes," he said, not looking back. Elara followed him to the balcony, where the night wind carried the faint music and the faint scent of roses. The balcony lights cast soft halos across Jalen's tense face. He shoved his hands through his neatly styled hair, messing it until it stood upright. "I can't pretend," he said, voice breaking. "I can't smile for photos. I can't toast to a future with people who do things like—" He gestured to her hair, swallowing hard. "Why didn't you tell me sooner?" "Because it wasn't your burden," Elara said quietly. "I didn't want to weaponize your wedding day." He gave a bitter laugh. "Tamsin swore you were jealous, that you manipulated people, that you were unstable. I believed her because I didn't know you." "You do now," Elara replied. Jalen leaned against the railing. "Elara, I don't think I can stay married to someone capable of this, and I don't trust the people who raised her." The honesty in his tone startled her. "Whatever you decide," Elara said, "let it be your own choice. Don't let me be the reason you stay or leave." Jalen looked at her with an ache that wasn't romantic, an ache born of revelation. "You're stronger than them," he said. "Stronger than all of this." Their quiet moment shattered when the DJ's voice boomed inside. "Time for the bouquet toss!" Jalen and Elara exchanged a look, one of dread and inevitability. When they re-entered, the crowd was buzzing, many already having digested the evidence page. Corinne's smile was strained, Benedict's collar damp with sweat, and Tamsin looked like she'd sprinted through a storm. "You," Tamsin said sharply, grabbing Elara's wrist. "Stand in the middle. Don't make me look like I excluded you." Elara allowed herself to be positioned. The bridesmaids gathered. The bouquet soared, and Tamsin twisted her body at the last second, hurling it directly at Elara's face. The roses hit hard, splitting her lip. Guests screamed. Jalen surged forward, furious. And Elara? She wiped the blood from her mouth, turned calmly toward the DJ, and reached for the microphone. "May I have a moment?" Elara asked, voice steady through the microphone. The room froze, not from shock, but from expectation. Too many had already seen the evidence. Music cut. Conversations stopped mid-syllable. Corinne whispered harshly, "Elara, don't you dare!" Benedict stood halfway, sputtering. "Sit down, young lady." Tamsin cried, "You're obsessed with ruining me." Elara raised a hand, quieting them without a single sharp word. "I'm not here to ruin anything," she said. "I'm here to stop pretending." She turned to the guests. "Some of you have already seen the truth. Some haven't, so I'll say this clearly. My parents entered my room last night and cut off my hair while I was sleeping." Gasps. Hands over mouths. Jalen's fists balled at his sides. Elara continued, "This wasn't the first time they hurt me, but it will be the last." Corinne stumbled forward, smile too wide, voice falsely sweet. "She's exaggerating." Elara held up a hand. "I have photos," she said. "Time-stamped recordings. Salon testimony. A police incident reference number." The room rippled like a struck drum. "And I'm not angry," Elara said, surprising even herself. "I just won't live like this anymore. I forgive them. But forgiveness does not mean access." Her eyes met her parents'. "You don't get to hurt me and stay close." Benedict charged forward, red-faced. "You ungrateful." But guests stepped between them, forming a human barrier. Aunt Leora, who had arrived silently, walked up and wrapped an arm around Elara's shoulders. "She told the truth," Leora said. "Let her finish." Elara breathed slowly. "I wish Tamsin a peaceful marriage," she said, voice soft but unshakable. "But I won't stand in shadows for anyone else's comfort. Not anymore." She handed the mic back to the DJ, lifted her chin, and walked toward the exit. No slamming, no tears, just a woman reclaiming herself. The night air outside felt like freedom, cool, vast, and unsupervised. Guests trickled out after her, some offering hugs, others whispering apologies, many saying the words she had waited her whole life to hear. "You didn't deserve that." Two bridesmaids, Piper and Sloane, left the reception entirely to stand with her under the lamplight. Nova joined moments later, phone buzzing constantly with stunned messages from guests viewing the evidence page. "You did it," Nova murmured, "with dignity." Behind them, Leora appeared, arms open. Elara fell into her embrace, not broken, but finally held by the right person. Later, Jalen approached, jacket off, tie undone, eyes exhausted but clear. "I told Tamsin," he said. "I need time and space, and she needs help I can't give her." He paused. "Thank you for opening my eyes." Elara nodded. "Take care of yourself." Over the next days, the quiet fallout began. Jalen postponed the honeymoon. Tamsin sought counseling. Corinne and Benedict's social circle cracked in half. Colleagues distanced themselves. Invitations disappeared. 3 weeks later, Jalen filed for annulment. A month after that, Elara received a promotion. Creative director, just as her boss had hinted, along with a team who respected her strength. Therapy softened the jagged places inside her. Her hair grew into a sharp, stylish bob. She built deeper friendships, a chosen family, Nova, Leora, Piper, Sloane, and found warmth in spaces untouched by cruelty. She and Tamsin reached a fragile truce in counseling, a beginning more than a reconciliation. And Elara began speaking at support groups, telling others, "You aren't defined by what they did to you. You're defined by how you rise." She rose, higher than she ever imagined. On a quiet spring morning, she looked in the mirror at her new reflection. Confident, whole, unhidden. The girl they tried to cut down had become the woman who stood tall. And her story was far from over. Like and subscribe to my channel for more contents like this, and let us know where you are watching from under the comment section.